Apple is a company that needs no introduction. It has revolutionized the tech industry and has become a household name around the world. But what is the story behind this iconic brand? In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the fascinating story of Apple, from its humble beginnings in a garage to its global domination today. But before we get into the video, please make sure that you have subscribed to our channel. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Apple's story begins in 1976 when Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak founded the company in Jobs' garage in Los Altos, California. Jobs and Wozniak had been friends since high school and shared a passion for electronics. Jobs had dropped out of college and was working for Atari, while Wozniak was an engineer at Hewlett-Packard. Their first project together was the development of a blue box, a device that allowed users to make free long-distance phone calls by exploiting a flaw in the phone system. The blue box was a success, and Jobs and Wozniak realized that they had the potential to create something even bigger. In 1975, Wozniak designed the Apple I computer, which was essentially a circuit board with no case, keyboard, or monitor. It was a simple machine, but it caught the attention of hobbyists and computer enthusiasts. Jobs saw the potential of the Apple I and convinced Wozniak to sell it. With the help of Ronald Wayne, a co-worker of Jobs at Atari, they officially launched the company in April of 1976. Wayne was given a 10% stake in the company, but sold it back to Jobs and Wozniak just 2 weeks later. Wayne later admitted that he regretted his decision, as his stake in the company would have been worth billions of dollars today. The Apple I was sold as a kit that users could assemble themselves. It was priced at $666.66, which was a nod to Wozniak's love of repeating numbers. The Apple I was a modest success, and it paved the way for the development of the Apple II. The Apple II was released in 1977 and was a major step forward for the company. It was the first personal computer that had color graphics and a floppy disk drive. It was also one of the first computers to be sold in retail stores. The Apple I was a massive success, and it helped to establish Apple as a major player in the tech industry. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Apple continued to grow and innovate. The Apple II became the best-selling computer of its time, and the company went public in 1980, making Jobs and Wozniak millionaires overnight. However, the success of the Apple II would not last forever. In 1983, Apple released the Lisa, a computer that was far ahead of its time but was also very expensive. The Lisa was a commercial failure, and it nearly bankrupted the company. Undeterred, Jobs and his team began work on a new project, which would become the Macintosh. The Macintosh was released in 1984 and was a massive success. It was the first computer to use a graphical user interface (GUI), which allowed users to interact with the computer using a mouse and icons instead of text commands. The Macintosh was also the first computer to use built-in software, such as word processing and spreadsheet applications, making it an all-in-one solution for consumers. Every aspect of the company led to tension with other executives, including CEO John Sculley. In 1985, Sculley and the Apple board of directors forced Jobs out of the company he had co-founded. Jobs would later reflect on this as a turning point in his life, saying that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that ever happened to him. After leaving Apple, Jobs founded a new company called Next Computer. Next was focused on creating high-end computers for the education and business markets. However, Next struggled to gain traction, and Jobs began to focus his attention on another project, Pixar Animation Studios. Jobs acquired Pixar in 1986 from Lucasfilm, and he saw the potential using computer-generated imagery, CGI, to create feature-length animated films. Pixar's first film, Toy Story, was released in 1995 and was a massive success. The film was a breakthrough in animation and established Pixar as a major player in the entertainment industry. In 1996, Apple was struggling once again. The company had lost its focus and was losing market share to competitors such as Microsoft. Jobs was brought back to Apple as an advisor and quickly took control of the company. In 1997, he was named CEO and began a massive overhaul of the company's product line.
Pleased to announce today that I'm going to drop the interim title.
Jobs' first move as CEO was to streamline Apple's product line and focus on creating a few core products. He also began work on a new operating system, which would become Mac OS X. Jobs' leadership and vision helped to turn Apple around, and the company began to release a series of hit products, including the iMac, the iPod, and the iPhone. Following the death of Steve Jobs, Apple faced a period of uncertainty and turmoil. Jobs had been the driving force behind many of the company's most successful products, and his absence left a void in the company's leadership. Under the leadership of Tim Cook, who took over as CEO in 2011, Apple continued to release new products and updates to existing ones. However, there was a sense that the company had lost some of its edge. One of the biggest challenges facing Apple during this time was the rise of competitors such as Samsung and Google. These companies were releasing products that were just as innovative and popular as Apple's, and they were doing so at a lower price point. Another challenge facing Apple was criticism over the company's business practices. In particular, the company was accused of exploiting overseas workers and engaging in anti-competitive behavior. These issues tarnished Apple's reputation and led to calls for the company to do more to address them. Despite these challenges, Apple continued to release new products and updates. In 2014, the company released the Apple Watch, a new product category for the company. The watch was well received by consumers, but it did not reach the same level of success as other Apple products. In 2016, Apple faced one of its biggest controversies when it was revealed that the company had intentionally slowed down older iPhones. The company claimed that this was necessary to prevent the phones from shutting down unexpectedly, but many consumers saw it as a way for Apple to force them to upgrade to newer models. The controversy led to a wave of criticism and lawsuits, and Apple was forced to offer discounted battery replacements and make changes to its iOS software. The incident damaged Apple's reputation and led to calls for the company to be more transparent with consumers about its practices. Despite these challenges, Apple continued to release new products and updates. In 2017, the company released the iPhone X, which featured a new design and facial recognition technology. The iPhone X was well received by consumers and helped to restore some of Apple's reputation for innovation. In recent years, Apple has continued to release new products and updates, including new versions of the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. The company has also made significant investments in areas such as artificial intelligence and augmented reality. In recent years, Apple has experienced a renaissance under the leadership of CEO Tim Cook. The company has continued to release innovative new products and updates, and has made significant investments in areas such as artificial intelligence and augmented reality. One of the key factors driving Apple's renaissance has been the success of the iPhone. Despite facing increased competition from rivals such as Samsung and Google, the iPhone remains one of the most popular and profitable products in the tech industry. Under Cook's leadership, Apple has continued to release new versions of the iPhone that feature significant improvements and new features. In 2018, the company released the iPhone XS and XF Max, which featured a new 12 Bionic chip and improved cameras. In iPhone 11, they introduced a new dual-camera system and improved battery life. In iPhone 12, they introduced 5G and OLED display, improved cameras, and Apple's A14 chip. In iPhone 13, they doubled the starting storage to 128, and then recently last year, they released iPhone 14, in which they introduced improved main and ultra-wide lenses. In addition to the iPhone, Apple has also continued to invest in other areas. In 2015, the company released the Apple Watch Series 1, followed by the Series 2 in 2016 and the Series 3 in 2017. The latest version of the Apple Watch, the Series 7, was released in 2021 and features a larger, more durable screen and new health tracking features. Apple has also continued to invest in its line of iPads and MacBooks. In 2018, the company released a new version of the iPad Pro that featured a new design and support for the Apple Pencil. The following year, Apple released a new version of the MacBook Air that featured a Retina display and improved keyboard. The legacy of Apple's impact on the tech industry and popular culture cannot be overstated. From the early days of the personal computer revolution to the present day, Apple has been a driving force behind many of the most significant technological innovations of the past few decades. One of the most enduring legacies of Apple is the design of its products. From the first Apple computer to the latest iPhone, Apple products have always been known for their sleek, minimalist design and attention to detail. This design philosophy has influenced not just the tech industry, but also the broader world of product design. Apple's commitment to privacy and security is another important part of its legacy. The company has long been a vocal advocate for user privacy and has implemented features like end-to-end encryption and two-factor authentication to protect its users' data. This focus on privacy and security has become increasingly important in the age of widespread data breaches and privacy violations. Looking back at the story of Apple, it's clear that the company's impact on the tech industry and popular culture cannot be overstated. Apple has always been a company that has dared to dream big, and its legacy is one of innovation, design, and cultural impact. As Apple continues to evolve and innovate, it will undoubtedly continue to shape the future of technology and culture for years to come. What do you think about the story of Apple? Do you have a favorite Apple product or memory? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.